Everybody, it is Romania Black. I'm Shirk again. I'm trying to summon as much good energy as I can today because we're on volume 32 of Berserk. And I just trying to summon good vibes because things are kind of crazy right now. We just can't get a ship to get across to Elfhelm. And we all knew this was coming, right? We all knew this was coming. That Miura was going to give us a challenge before we got to that point. They had to go through another trial and tribulation. Of course, we knew it was going to involve Zodd showing up. Well, I didn't anticipate Zodd last volume, and then here he is. So now I'm like, okay, well, Griffith is not far behind, right? Possibly, presumably. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm like, so Griffith and or the apostles are going to show up in this. Seems legit, right? But I was talking with another commenter with Complex City about I know I've labeled this kind of like a side quest, which it is when your main plot is point A to point B and you go off here, you go off there. Those are called side plots, and that's what this is. And it's fine. I'm all here for the character development. It's just, as a reader, frustrating when you're like, I just want them to get a boat. That's the point. I understand that. I am well aware. But last volume, it was a little bit of overkill. I was like, Miura, how many of these monsters are we going to face over and over and over again till you get us to this next point? Luckily, the stuff with Ganishka was really interesting. The stuff with Serpico and Guts fighting off the wizard general. And then, of course, Zodd showing up and Guts being like, oh God, Zodd's getting fried. He's getting electrocuted by Ganishka. Zodd is off in the wings recovering right now for this week. And plus, I need to keep a hold of this hat. I have it pinned. That's probably not going to be enough, but we're going to go with it. So, but yeah, I've opened this book up to this page and there's Griffith with a bunch of birds off in the distance. And I'm like, I feel like, I don't know if Miura, here's the thing I've realized, it's taken me 32 volumes to realize with Berserk, but Miura likes to play a slow burn. He likes to play the long game. He likes to make you wait and wait and wait for years for resolution. Miura's just edging you the whole time. And there's a part of me that's like, oh, Griffith's going to show up with the Band of the Hawk. And then there's another part of me that's like, no, Miura is holding off the confrontation between Guts and Griffith as long as he can until he possibly has no other alternatives. So, and he honestly could write the story without Guts and Griffith ever meeting one another. And we'll talk about that here in a hot second. But it is definitely a form of edging. So let's dive into these comments before we get started. Miroslav Ost, and I actually typed out these comments or copied and pasted them from the comment section because some of them were worded really well and I didn't want to alter that or paraphrase. So Miroslav Ostapinko comments that I feel like Sonia is not specifically evil, but extremely narcissistic, thinking she's above humans because she's sensitive to the astral plane. Yeah, at first I was very creeped out about Sonia, but as you all have seen in my discussions the last couple weeks, I feel more sorry for Sonia because I feel that she is kind of a sort of a victim of circumstance, and she's very naive, even though she thinks that she's not naive, right? And also, she's extremely naive, probably thinking Griffith is just a little different from the others, making all that miracles, not knowing he's reincarnated as a God Hand member. Yeah, so I talked about that as well in the discussion. She is drawn to Griffith because she believes he's like him. They're both different and misunderstood. It almost seems like she has a crush on Griffith, which is grades more creepy and terrifying than what she teases Shirk with. Yes, I agree with that because we as readers know how dark and evil Griffith is under that angelic white armor. Exactly. We've compared Guts and Griffith kind of in the past to each other and they draw similar parallels. But what's interesting is you have Guts, who looks like he should be the monster, and Shirk, him and Shirk just have this platonic friend relationship, and Shirk does not view Guts romantically or sexually at all. Whereas Sonia's jealousy of Charlotte and the way that she like throws herself at Griffith and things like that, it's still like more innocent, But there definitely is like a connotation there of Sonia does have a crush on Griffith. She does like him. And that part there, I'm like, ooh, that's getting into like a little bit of a creepy territory for her character. And you know why she's like that. I don't think Miura's creepy for doing it in this instance, because you as the audience can see like, oh girl, no, get away from him. No, 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 no. And I am hoping that Sonia and Mule, as innocent as they are, do finally get to see Griffith's true colors show, and that they get to see him be this demon, and they're like, oh, we've been following that this whole time? Oh no, we need to, that's not good. And so I'm hoping that that's the case. I'm hoping that Miura builds it to where Griffith makes a misstep, shows off too much, and Mule and Sonia make the dynamic decision to leave him and to be like, oh no, this is not for us. No, thank you. And so far we haven't seen that, but we still have, 11 volumes to go before we're caught up? Plenty of time for stuff to happen, especially in Berserk. So thank you, Miroslav. I appreciate that. Christian Kansas does point out, because I noted that the only time Guts has felt comfortable is around his sword, because that's been kind of the motif the whole time. Christian Kansas said the only time he felt comfortable sleeping without his sword was when he could have Casca by his side in the Wounds chapter that was just so beautiful. Yes, I forgot about that chapter because it's been so long since Miura has let us see Guts and Casca be remotely comfortable around each other. That's the thing. And at this point, it feels like Guts and Casca will never be comfortable around Guts unless she gets her memories back. That's just seemingly how it's going to be. I've been waiting for Miura to do little subtle things throughout the show or throughout the series of letting Guts and her slowly get closer together despite all she's going through, but it's not happening. Miura's not giving us any of that. It's like Guts takes 1 inch towards her and she hisses and walks away. And I wondered over time if Miura would, subtly have this develop, but no such luck. So it seems like Miura is trying to paint it as if the only way for them to ever get back together is going to be if she can get her memories back and then go from there. If it's even a possibility, we'll see. But yeah, the Wounds chapter feels like it's eons ago, honestly. Yejing 98 says that when Charlotte talked about Sleeping Beauty, you can see the comparison between her scene with Griffith contrasting with the actual fairy tale. Instead of the princess falling asleep after pricking her finger, Griffith asks if she can feel that pain if it was a dream. But we've seen Griffith himself being compared to a dream, so one that enchanted so many people. Rather than being woken up by the hero in Sleeping Beauty, like how Charlotte views it, Griffith is more unassuming, like the unassuming needle that pricks Sleeping Beauty, sending her into a never-ending dream. And that's a really good comparison. I like that. Yeah, I'm not saying Griffith is not Maleficent, although it could be. But rather, Griffith kind of lulls Charlotte into this fantasy, this dream of, oh, here's this man that loves me, and he's handsome and smart and dashing and gentlemanly and chivalrous, and I can be with him, and it's all an illusion. It's not real. Griffith does not like her. He does not care for her affectionately. He is using her and is perfectly fine with taking advantage of her and her affections if it gets him what he wants. So yeah, I definitely agree that it is a twist on the story. The sad thing is I feel for Charlotte because she doesn't realize that. And the people around her either don't realize it either, like Anna, Mule, and Sonia, they kind of just feed into it, or they might know, but they don't do anything about it, like the apostles. So I definitely feel for Charlotte because she's definitely a victim in this case, and I just want Griffith to get his comeuppance. So, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Moomin explains that Princess Charlotte is baking a cake called a Baumkuchen, and she sent me a link to show how to make it. It's wonderful with coffee or tea, according to Moomin, and it seems to be difficult. It would be difficult to bake on the battlefield after watching that video. I'm like, yeah, how we do that? But I'm sure they found a way, right? I'm sure someone's going to say it's historically accurate because they had the means to do so, and okay. And then the colonnade is a real place. And then they said, yes, I've been there. My mother used to go to Spain a lot, and it looks like a cool place. Yeah, and that kind of feeds into Alex Cornejo's comment, which I thought this was really interesting and worth mentioning. Geography is one of my worst subjects, so if you tell me where things are on a map, I'm like, Maybe if you give me a map, I can find it, but if you outright tell me what things are near, I'm like, just my worst subject. But Alex Cornejo says, Originally, I pictured Midland as sort of a fantasy England or Germanic, like in so many other medieval fantasy stories. But the longer the story goes on, the more I think of it as sort of a Spanish or Italian setting, maybe generally Mediterranean. So landmarks seem to be taken from Italian or Spanish locations, the presence of the Holy See, the closeness to more Moorish or Asian cultures, and so many romantic, as in romance languages, sounding names like Serpico or Cedro or Farnese. I'm starting to think the Guts might be short for Gustavo. And I was like, oh, Gustavo. I mean, it feels very Fabio, like bodice ripper novels, which would track with Miura. So I'm like, Gustavo. I still like Guts. Probably still call him Guts. But Gustavo is like, you put a mustache on Guts and then you have Gustavo. But yeah, that is really interesting. I definitely love the idea that it has more like of a Spanish and Italian influence, at least where they are necessarily. I feel like it might have started out with more English Germanic and we're just kind of going through Europe into the Middle East as we go through the story, which is cool. I like when authors decide to move their characters into different settings and experience different cultural shifts in that. And I think Miura does do that in Berserk, which is really fun because it keeps it fresh, right? We're not just sticking in the same old castle the entire time. And then finally, Complex City commented, we were talking about the whole thing of side quests and things like that. But they said this line here. They said, to me, the story has never been about, because to preface, and you all know this from watching the discussions, I definitely understand what Miura is doing with Griffith. He's presented as a deceiver. He's the Antichrist. Everybody's following him. They all think he's hunky-dory. We, the audience, know he's very much not that. And he's done horrific things. And so far, he's just walking around and not getting to bear any responsibility for what he's done. And to a reader, that can be kind of frustrating because you're thinking, well, Griffith caused the deaths of Pippin and Judo and Corcus, and he raped Casca and caused all of these horrible things to Guts, and he's just walking around and nobody's holding him accountable. And that's the point, and it's frustrating as reader, and I've been just speaking my mind and sharing how frustrating it is for me. And so Complex City says, to me, the story has never been about beating Griffith or the Apostles, but rather Guts' journey along with the rest who are with him, and all of them growing as people. And the funny thing is, I see Griffith stuff as the side plot. And I don't know how to feel about that. Because on the one hand, sure, it could be considered this progressive thing that Miura's like, oh, you think the story is going to be about Guts versus Griffith, but it's really about the friends we make along the way. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I guess I want to have my cake and eat it too. I want to have the character development and to have the journey of Guts with his friends because I've seen other series do this. And I'm like, but if you're telling me that Griffith, who you've built up to be this all-powerful being, and then you brought him back into the story and he's a major thematic element, but in the end, he's just going to be a side plot and he's not important. I mean, I guess that's revolutionary or whatever, but I'm like, for someone that's got such a stake and investment in seeing how Guts handles Griffith, I'm very torn about it because on the one hand, yeah, I would love for Guts to go up to Griffith and be like, and do what he did to Ganishka and say, yeah, you know what? Don't care about you. I'm going to move on. I would love that. And I would like kind of cheer for that. And I'm hoping that Guts does that. But then I'm like, so is Griffith just going to become king and there's no consequence for him? What kind of message is that? What kind of message does that send? And I want there to be resolution to that conflict. And if Griffith just goes on his merry way, and the worst thing I could think could happen is if, Griffith and Charlotte fall in love and then it's just, because that's almost like enabling him in what he did before and saying like, oh, that was fine because now he's turned over a new leaf and I was like, no, he doesn't get any punishment for what he did. So I don't know. Again, Miura plays the long game, but if Griffith's just a side plot in all of this and your main villain was never a villain I don't know how I feel about that. That statement of Griffith not being a focal point as conflict is I don't know how that sits with me. And I need to get to the end to catch up at least with Miura's content as we get into Mori's content. And the story's not over yet, obviously, but I don't know how I feel about that. my heart is telling me I don't like that, but my head's telling me I understand what Miura is doing. It's a very conflicting point to be at, right? It's a very conflicting thing to, but Berserk, complicated, Berserk, conflicting, Berserk, causing you to have doubts and anxieties. What? Who would have guessed? Who would have thought, right? I've talked for 15 minutes, but I'm very grateful for all of your comments and kind words. I keep wishing there were more comments about the good things. This fandom likes to get up in arms if someone critiques the work, but then all the great stuff that's been happening the last several volumes, nobody's talking about it. And so I'm trying to interpret that as there's going to be big stuff happen along the way in the next coming volumes, and people are waiting till we get to the big stuff to talk about it as a whole. I'm hoping that's the case. Otherwise, I'm like, is nobody interested anymore talking about Berserk? There's been so much good stuff happening with Shirk and Guts, and nobody's wanting to talk about that. And I'm just over here like shouting into the wind, it feels sometimes. But I've got Whiteboard Coon here if we need him. But who knows? I feel like we might if we're comparing Guts and Griffith. And if Griffith shows up, we might need to write some stuff down. So we're on volume 32 of Deluxe Volume 11. We might as well see what we get. So let's see what happens with Ganishka and Zodd and all of that, right? But we're going to start this here in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we get Griffith there. I like that it forms like a W or an H for Hawk with the shadow there, however you want to view it. I'm going to take that ribbon out because we're going to get to the next page here. All right, someone told me that the character pages could eventually become spoilery because it will reveal new people in the series. So that is good to note. Obviously, we have Roderick here. This hasn't changed since last time. So I will bear that in mind. But it's like, why do you put character pages if that's going to be the case? Oh, what is this? What is this section here? We have like a little section. I'm not going to look at the table of contents. But we have like a little the story thus far panel. I mean, they put it at the beginning of the story, so I kind of need to read it, right? The naval city of Virtanus has reached the peak of chaos. Armies from all nations of the Holy See have gathered beneath the flag of resistance against the Kushan Empire. A force of enchanted Kushan beast soldiers delivers a blow against the military headquarters and key figures of the resistance. Guts and his companions mow down the beast soldiers standing in their way. It looks as if the path to Elfhelm has opened, but wait! But the giant figure of Emperor Ganishka appears. He is an apostle. While every apostle in the world is hastening to fall under Griffith's leadership, the Emperor is attempting to surpass the God Hand. He suggests that Guts join him as his soldier, and after Guts refuses, is about to take his life. A group of the new band of the Hawk's Flying Apostles, led by Zodd, sweeps in to attack the apostle Ganishka. However, no one's attack can prevail against Ganishka's lightning strikes or his manifested body of fog. Will Guts and the others really manage to depart from Virtanus? Find out this time on Dragon Ball Z. They do make a point of wondering whether are they helping Guts or is this mainly just against Ganishka? Human bullet. Ooh. Zodd, are you going forth? Then may fortune be with you. Oh, Grunbeld. Exercise due caution. The Emperor himself may set out for this battle. No attack is effective against him. Oh, did they not think that Ganishka was going to be there? Come now, though Zodd be alone on horseback, he can best a force 1,000 strong. That's very nice of you to say, Grunbeld. Nosferatu Zodd, I'd heard his battle frenzy was notable even amongst bloodthirsty apostles. But he is an enigmatic man. Oh, Sonia. Interesting. What brings you here, girl? You have a choice to make. A choice? To battle again the sword that once cut your flesh, or to make it your own weapon. Madness or volition, beast or warrior, as does your counterpart. Counterpart. The one you're drawn to. Oh, Sonia! Sonia's on board the BL ship of Skull Knight and Zodd. Sonia's here for it. Sonia's down. Good. Awesome. What's that mean? Oh my god! Are you just as oblivious? She's like, I don't know. If you don't realize you're attracted to him, then who am I to reveal this to you? I guess that's how prophecy works. Oh. Sonia, we're about to depart to meet His Holiness the Pontiff. Oh, bye-bye, Mr. Black Lion. Mr. Black Lion, yes. You are truly fearless. Why is that? She knows he's not going to hurt her. So to battle against a sword or make it your own weapon. So basically, she's like, you either are going to fight Guts or you're going to make him help you get Ganishka out of the way. Those are your options. You're going to try to get Guts to help you, or you're going to try to hurt him. She's like, yes, madness or volition, beast or warrior. And your counterpart does the same. I like the idea. I guess we should bring out Whiteboard Coon for this part here. So we have here, if we're going to talk about comparisons, we have the idea of beast or warrior, which Guts kind of fits both. But we have this idea of Zodd being kind of like the beast, and Skull Knight has been portrayed as the warrior. But both have the option to either battle or to work with Guts. Obviously, Skull Knight has realized it's advantageous to work with Guts because if he's trying to get to the God Hand, and Guts has a personal vendetta against Griffith, then it would be advantageous for him to work with Guts because that could help lead him to the God Hand. Although what's interesting about that is that Skull Knight's not really using Guts for his agenda to the point of hurting Guts because he's influenced Guts to be like, don't go after Griffith. Stop. So he's not actually trying to push Guts to finding the God Hand, but he knows the God Hand will probably eventually try to find Guts, like Slan did. So he's like, well, if I'm trying to get to the Apostles, Guts is a good person to follow in terms of that. But right now, Skull Knight doesn't seem to be wanting to follow Guts because he's like, you need to get to Elfhelm and help Casca, because I know that's important to you. Whereas, I think that Zodd would use Guts rather than just work with him? Yeah, oh yeah, because Zodd's an apostle and has his own agenda, which is just to battle people. So, interesting. I like that Sonia automatically knows that Zodd and Skull Knight are like a destined OTP, and she's like, hey, about this. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, well, who am I to call you out on this? That's hilarious. I love that. Okay, but I like that she also calls him Black Lion. Great. And then Zodd sees the Black Swordsman. So interesting. So I'm curious to know why Zodd went in the first place. If he wasn't looking for Guts and he didn't know if Ganishka would show up, why go anywhere? Was he just sent to do reconnaissance there and see how things were going? To see if the Kushan Empire had destroyed the city and report back to Griffith? Maybe, possibly. He might tell us later. Okay. Oh, Zodd's on top of him. Oh, or Griffith Guts is on top of Zodd. Oh, I never thought I'd run into you here, Zodd, you bastard. Oh, if I cut off his head right now, I can kill him. Well, you could, but your urge to kill makes my neck bristle in ecstasy. Oh my god, of course. These apostles, they get off on pain. I'm like, now would be the time you might want to work together. Also, you're on a wet conduit of electricity. What a piece of work. He's a damn thundercloud. What's the matter? You call yourself Zodd the Immortal, but you're just getting smacked around. Well, that's easy for you to say, freeloader. But as you can see, there's no weapons which can strike mist. Guts, are you all right? Yeah, but things have taken a strange turn. That is an understatement. How the hell does Thunderhead's body work? You can't use magic to figure it out? Those are likely wind and water elementals surrounding his ethereal body. I suspect his gathering moisture is to project his own form. I think that is how he can become gigantic and appear and disappear at will. Well, shouldn't you be lying down? That exists not within our shallow layer of interstice, but a deep layer where substance does not reach. Regular arms cannot harm him. Regular arms. Oh God, the mask. Oh shit. So come on, Guts. What you thinking? What you thinking? Come on. Oh, asshole. Ah! As much as I hate Griffith to the point of wanting him to have his comeuppance, I'm not opposed to Zodd versus Guts because I'm not opposed to Zodd and Guts working together because they've always had this kind of they've always had kind of like a Goku Vegeta, I just want to battle you and you just want to battle me relationship. Whereas Zodd's not wild. He's not Griffith. He just wants to battle people, and his apostle form allows him to do that. So I can be a little bit more forgiving of Zodd, whose means are less nefarious than Griffith, necessarily. It's about time you got off. We'll fight to the death after I wipe him out. Oh, sure! Who was it that splashed down and burnt to a crisp? Hey, fly the way I tell you to, if you don't want to lose the head. Oh, Guts using Zodd as like a steed? I don't know what to think about this. My fight with you can wait. We're taking him down. What? Are you even awake? I told you nothing can cut mist. Wrong. You want a mist cutter? Well, here it is. You have a choice to battle again the sword that once cut your flesh or to make it your own weapon. He's like, pull your sword away. We're good. Oh, nice, nice. Cooler heads prevailing, Zodd. So I do like the idea also that Sonya kind of functions along the same route as Skull Knight as being this prophetic voice that's like, you got choices. Make your choices. And all right. Fine, then. We'll do this your way. Show me you can hack that thundercloud to pieces. Oh, my God. I mean... We've been kind of... I never thought I would see the day when Guts was riding on top of Zodd like a damn Falcor and about to use him to battle an emperor. I did not think this was going to happen, but here we are. Here's the thing, too, though. If they manage to destroy Ganishka, that is literally the only thing opposing Griffith. That's the only opposition Griffith has from taking over Midland completely is Ganishka. But here's the thing. If you are an authoritative power, which Griffith is trying to be, part of being an authoritarian or authoritative government is you have to have a buffer. You have to have someone to demonize for the people to rally against. Otherwise, more than likely, what is going to happen is that is going to come back on yourself, and you will become the one demonized if you don't have a scapegoat to put all that to. That's why you see authoritative governments or authoritarian governments here in our own world. They have to find something to demonize. They have to find an other or a villain to get the masses to rile up against, to draw attention away from their own problems and their own corruption. So I'm curious if they did beat Ganishka and the Kushan Empire collapsed, what would happen? Or would they defeat Ganishka and Psylocke and his people would take over and it would be something different? And that would cause a bit more controversy because then Griffith doesn't necessarily have something to demonize. Or would he still try to demonize Psylocke and his men despite the fact that they weren't like Ganishka? There's a lot of things that can happen, but I'm like, is destroying Ganishka the thing you want to do, or would you rather try to get him to your side? But I don't think that's going to happen. So curious. I just never thought we'd get to this point. I never thought we would get to this. So kudos to you, Mira. The black swordsman becomes the blackened swordsman. Belly button guard. Well, hey, hold on. And my dogs are going to play and bark, so you'll have to excuse them. That one horned thing's turning towards the thunderhead with Guts. Shirk. Where's his actual ethereal body? Guts. Whoa, don't fall. Don't do... Oh, I like Isidro helping her to make sure she doesn't fall. No, don't do this. There's no time. Hurry. Shirk. His brow. Between his eyes. I like that. Yeah, I was going to say, like, is it his forehead? Like, there's a third eye there, or... Huckleberry. Oh. Don't bark for no reason. Oh, my God. Is he going to miss, though? Is he going to miss? Oh! Oh! Well, I don't think he got him, but that's a bitchin' shot. That's a really good picture of Zodd and Guts. That's really cool. He's just surfing on Zodd. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. What we doing? Did they actually get it? Oh, crash landing. Oh. Oh my god. Majesty, what's the matter? Leave me. How dare you? Oh, okay. He looks so much smaller beneath those curtains, right? I mean, he's got muscles. You can see that, but he looks so much smaller and less imposing. So Berserk, of course. There's Femto hatching from the Behelit egg, in case if you've forgotten. Oh, setting sail. Hey! Okay, are we getting out of here? Is it finally happening? What the fog? The fog's pulling back. Okay, so they did manage to strike him and get him distracted where he had to stop. Oh. Master Daiba, not all the Daka nor Pishaka have withdrawn. I don't care. We won't be able to collect them. We won't be able to collect them all in time. The Harishada must be thorough in forcing the Daka and Pishaka to commit suicide. Not a single one must fall into enemies' hands alive. How could this be? How could there ever be anyone who can injure His Majesty? Kishtriya of Durga. Hey, should we be getting this close? I love it all, like, surrounding Zodd. Zodd is, like, the one apostle I'm least worried about hurting anybody else. He just wants to fight Guts, so he's fine. Stop, it's dangerous. Oh. Our little unicorn Zodd. Oh, my God. Oh, poor Guts being charred. Oh, no. He's huge. Don't move. I like Serpico's guy. Stay back. What's the matter? Weren't we going to settle things? Come on and stand up. Yeah, no, he has like a hole in his chest. If you can't, there won't be any fight to the death. I'll just tear you apart and eat you. Zodd, read the room. Read the room. Know that he's got a problem going on. Oh, he stood up. Well, of course he did. Oh, dust deficit. Or, yeah. How is he alive? Farnese is asking the questions we all want to know. How is he alive? We'll see to our duel another time. A time when we can bloody each other to our heart's content. Oh, Captain Zodd, isn't that the Black Swordsman? Oh, he's practically a sworn enemy for us apostles. Besides, he's got the brand on him in a way that makes him an offering to us. There is no way we should pass him up. Anyhow, lately I've forgotten the taste of Yeah, Zodd's like, no, Guts is mine. Don't be getting confused, thinking you got a chance. Don't forget. We're the Hawk's warriors. We've come here to wage war. Yeah, Zodd's like, I ain't about to kill him. I'm going to fight him later. Oh, I do like Zodd's little, he kind of looks like a wet cat, where he's got like the one side of him that's all like wet and kind of squinty. Our master's orders are to thrash the Kushan enchanted beasts. We didn't come to indulge in our cravings. And we're done here. Just a damn minute. Oh. If you're all here, then is he. Does that mean Griffith's nearby? What'll you do once you hear the answer? If he is, will you fight with our master as he rides in here? Guts, this is your chance. You got to get out. Now's your chance to choose. Are you going to leave or are you going to stay and fight Griffith? The answer should be very simple. So they were basically just here to make sure the beasts were taken out after they'd caused all this chaos. We're just going to sweep in and do, like I talked about last couple of volumes, make sure to save the people. Oh, then that changes things. Even if you were crippled, our entire army would just mince you into 100 pieces of meat. Oh, Serpico. Hey, Serpico! Stupid showing off, you'll get you killed. This ends here. you couldn't care less about some feud between monsters. Isn't that the case? I'm a little bit sad that Guts didn't make that decision, because Guts was so... I mean, Serpico's calling him out on his hypocrisy a little bit, being like, you just said that you didn't care about Ganishka versus Griffith, but now you're changing your mind. Don't we have a mission? I wish Guts had made that choice himself. I wish Guts could have looked Zodd in the face and said, no, I'm going to go off on my ship. I hate that Serpico had to intervene, but slow burn development. Okay. Oh, let go of me. You want some of this? Yeah, Cedro, you ain't doing nothing. Time to move out. I told you to cut it out. It is. So that's that. Yeah. Good job, Serpico, reminding Guts why he's here. Damn it. I'm done here too. Go on, get lost. And Zodd's like, okay. It's fine. I know. I just really had hoped. Guts had a really great breakthrough last volume, and I was hoping he would keep that momentum up, but Miura is not going to satisfy us. He's edging us, right? So Serpico had to step in. All right. Are we safe? Don't come back! Guts. You and those things met before? Oh, no. Yeah. He just passed out. Though in this situation, I cannot say he is fine, even for mere peace of mind. He must have stood up just so he could mouth off. Yeah, Serpico's like, what's stubbornness? We should hurry and board my ship. We can't treat him or anything here, or the girl either. There's an undamaged small boat over there. Let's go. Oh my God, that boat is tiny. Why must I? Just do it already. He was leaping around with a sword and armor this heavy? Yeah, gently, gently. I love Roderick. Roderick's like, okay, come on, let's go. How is he moving around this armor so heavy? Yep. Oh! They're there too! We're gonna figure out who that is. Okay. Was Azon his name? I didn't go back and check, but we're gonna figure out who this is. Okay, let's go. Excuse me. Why must I use your arms, not your mouth, pal? Oh. You do some work too. Come here. Oh, well. There was a body in the boat with you. Are you not going to say anything? Good grief, just when I thought he'd healed. Not 3 days go by and he's already in pieces. It's going to dry me out. A maiden skin, dried to the bone. It'll be farewell to land for a while. Oh, good. They're rowing to another ship. I was like, if they're stuck on that little tiny ship... Just what's this world coming to anyway? Mother and father. Oh, and they're just sitting there getting their dust on them. Uh-huh. And he was there. I'll give credit. Guts did make the choice to leave. I just wanted him to tell Griffith off so bad. Griffith's trying to outdo Skull Knight on his horse game, but I don't know. Mr. Waffles is pretty bitchin'. This horse is pretty nice too, but... Guts is like, damn it. There was a time back during the Golden Age arc where if we had kept with that plot line, a scene like this, I would have been like, oh, how romantic. The two of them looking longingly at each other from across the ways, parted ways, but no. That's kind of like ever since the eclipse, I'm like, any chance of me shipping Guts and Griffith is kind of like out the window. And I feel like Miura tries to like make us go all this time from the eclipse to try to maybe like build it back up. But I'm like, no, there's no chance. There's no way. It's done. It's a done deal. It's not going to happen again. Massive Invasion, Part 1. So, are we going to focus on the aftermath of... the aftermath of the city? Oh my God. It's just mass destruction. The harbor, there's a dead whale. It's just, which the whales were taken over by Ganishka, and so now we see what they look like without the demon forces there. Everything's just dead. They made them commit suicide so people couldn't, go through them. Hey, it's Owen! Wow! What a sight. Imagine the naval yard of the Holy See Alliance armies reduced to ashes in a single night. To where did that huge crowd of monsters disappear? All that remains are corpses of Kushan troops and beasts. Does it mean that was some dream? I like the idea of everything is dreamlike surrounding Griffith and the Kushan and the demon kind. We've got a message. Clear the way. What's going on inside? It's hard to say for sure with all the chaos. A Kushan sneak attack, right? Did you hear the ones who ran out were carrying on about monsters? Well, what should we do? All of the higher-ups went to the party and we don't know where they are. Well, how should I know? Look how many troops are around the city. There's not a single rat getting in. Where are the Kushan? Let's wait and see for now. Are you sure there might still be enemies inside? Oh. Interesting. Is this the Kushan with the eyes? Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh. 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 That's a lot. That's a lot of troops. That's a lot. Oh, yeah, that's quite a lot of troops there. Huh. But they have like armor and stuff. Are they with Griffith or are they with the Kushan? Doesn't matter at this point. Oh, it's Psylot. Young master, what do you intend to do? Without a doubt, the Hawk's forces have made for this land. Being few in number, it's probably impossible for them to influence the overall course of this war. But if we do not inform the Emperor of this, the Kushan, it will mean... But didn't you see he was inhuman? Are you saying we should entrust our fate of our clan to such a demon lord? Young master. Ooh. Well, this could present a really interesting turning point because the Kushan up until this point have been fighting against Midland and the forces because they believe they're fighting against Griffith. And Griffith has convinced the masses that the Kushan are fighting against them and not just trying to, become a god hand and do all this. But here it's like, do we go along? It's kind of presenting this dynamic, and I'm wondering to see if they're going to if Mira's actually going to go this route. Because you have the idea that you have the Midland masses and the idea of they're literally blindly following. They're blindly following Griffith and the Band of the Hawk. And I say blindly following, they know exactly what they're doing. They're not being hypnotized they're being brainwashed, essentially. But they're following Griffith because they don't know the full story. So it is like they're blind in that sense. Meanwhile, you have Psylot, who knows the truth about Ganishka. And so now the question is he going to not follow him, knowing the truth, and set a precedent that if Psylot withdraws his army or makes a statement about Ganishka and then leaves, that could turn the trajectory of all this, or at least give cause for Owen to be like, well, why did he do that? So let's see how this plays out. Oh, we better run for it. If we're forced into battle like this, doesn't matter how large our army is. No, because it's so large, once it sups into chaos, it'll be uncontrollable. Oh, well, damn, no, he's there with them. Shit. So it's like, is Psylot going to say something or is he going to go along with it? That's the question. Damn it. I do love all of the designs of Ganishka and of the Kushan. Their designs are really cool. We've expended nearly all the Pashaka we control in this area, but our strategic arrangement is superior. In war, what ultimately determines the tide are numbers. There's no substitute for overwhelming military force. Majesty, your orders, purge them. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, nope, we're gonna legit attack. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Where was Griffith and them? I thought Griffith and them were going to occupy the city and save them. Are they going to wait until they're attacking and then come in? They just don't want to acknowledge the monsters? Is that the case? They just want to wait till the human army of Kushan is in, and then Griffith and them are going to swoop in like the saviors that they could have been if they stuck around. Massive Invasion Part 2. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Well, there goes some of our eyeballs and skulls and things. I'm just gonna get crushed by the elephants. I've noticed that the gore has toned down a little bit in Berserk, which I'm not sad about at all. It almost feels like before it was just like this, just massive, like just da 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 da, and it almost became desensitizing. Now you kind of notice, you're like, oh, there's that and there's that. It's like Miura again, yeah. It's like you have all of these people getting mowed down by the horses and getting speared, but it's not nearly as bloody as what it once was. So there's that. We can at least be okay with. Oh my gosh. Oh. All of the spears, all of it. It's just a lot of time. Miura took a lot of time to draw all of this. And I appreciate... Oh, I even like how, just talking about... I know on page, this looks like a very simple double spread, as if it's simple to draw all this. But I like that you kind of see in the corner there, the spears starting to turn. And that is so interesting. Oh. Fall back and get inside the walls. All the enemy's doing is pressing a large army down on us. But right now we've no way of contesting it. The attack last night was nothing more than a strategic maneuver to disarray our command system and facilitate the siege of Vertanis. The outcome was already decided by the time they formed their ranks. In a battle between two large forces, once the balance tips, the flow cannot be changed. Destroyed. The Holy See Alliance armies will be destroyed. But here's where Griffith comes in to be the savior and be like, oh my, look at me. But the thing about it is, Griffith could have stayed there with his army of demons and patrolled the city and kept a perimeter and kept the Kushan army at bay. But that's not what we're doing. We're going to let the Kushan army come in and create this desperate situation. And then we're going to arrive like the heroes that we are and save everyone. And everyone will be at our mercy. Yep. And there we go. There is Irvine. Irvine, I was told his name. Irvine there with the arrows. Yep. Yeah. And his bow that has like the eye that can see. I wonder if it's his eyes that are now in the bow. Yeah. Of course. Oh my god! The one shish kebabbed the eyes. One took out the ear. There's the eardrum that came out through the arrow on the ear. Oh my god. And we had this conversation about him being a beast looking for his prey. Here we go. Okay, and then in come all of the apostles. Yep, into the army. Yep. They're plunging into the moat. And then there's this apostle who's like a shadow. That came out of the elephant's mouth? Oh my god. I like that Psylot's off in the distance. Good. Get out of there, Psylot. Don't. What in the hell's happening on the battlefield? Young master, this might be. Yeah. Psylot's like, there are demons everywhere. I like that Psylot is the one that knows the truth. He knows what's going on, and he's figuring out what's happening. Yes, Psylot, be the voice of reason in all of this, please. But what's Psylot going to do? There's no way that after this, the Midland army is not going to let Psylot anywhere near them to talk. So, what are we doing? Oh, did we find a ship? Did we find a ship that's decent? Oh. Or were they hiding out in that one ship waiting? They were hiding out in that like a damn Trojan horse. Huh. Yeah. It's like, okay. All right, reporting, sire. The flight. Flight of the Phoenix, flight of the Band of the Hawk. We've lost control of our cavalry and some of our war elephants. It's causing disorder on the front lines. Oh, it could be. It very well will be. And it's so frustrating because, you know, Griffith and the Band of the Hawk are portrayed as the heroes in this, or will probably be portrayed as the heroes in this. But we, the audience, know that bitches, they waited around until the opportune moment to attack. They weren't... Yeah, and then you have the Femto helmet there coming down. I guess I should applaud Miura for not making Femto a like monologuing, mustache twirling villain, because he very much is not. But when he's just sitting there just being stoic and just leading the attack as he's always done, like he's on autopilot from his old Band of the Hawk days, I will say this. It's kind of, if I say the word boring, every commenter will be like, why you just, but is it bad of me to say it kind of is? And I know I shouldn't want Femto to be doing anything horrible, because I don't. But it's like Griffith hasn't said more than a sentence in 5 years worth of manga. And I'm like, are you gonna have a The last time he talked was to Mule, and that was like 4 volumes ago. That was like 2 years ago if you're reading in real time. I just feel like Griffith's not, he's just leading the battle, and it's all stuff we've seen before. And I'm like, I get it, but I'm like, you're gonna do something with Griffith. And then but I'm being nitpicky. I just, we followed Griffith along all this time, and it's just kind of the same old he's been doing since the very beginning of the manga. Whereas you've seen characters like Guts growing and developing as a person, and Griffith is stagnant. He's not changing. He reached God Hand form and was like, well, I've plateaued. That's all I got. And I'm sure, before y'all comment, I know that's Miura's intent. It's just, I would like it to be more engaging, but and to see him have more conversations with other characters, to see him interact more with other characters. But if Griffith's the side plot, then I guess if he's been relegated to that, then I guess that's the point. Okay. And then of course the Kushan army is like, what do we do? And I do like that one of Griffith just coming slowly more closer into frame, flanked by all his men. Okay, so we have like all these members of the God Hand and all their designs. Man, Tite Kubo. You know who these remind me of? And I know I haven't watched Thousand Year Blood War arc yet. Please don't spoil the anime for Thousand Year Blood War arc. I read the manga years ago, but I'm waiting till they adapt the whole thing for Bleach before I watch it all. But they do kind of remind me a little bit of the Quincy designs. A little bit, the Band of the Hawk 2.0. They remind me of the Quincy designs, and the Quincy are all in white in Bleach, which the new Band of the Hawk are all in white. So I'm sure Kubo took some design inspiration from them. Or you could say the Arrancar as well. The Arrancar from Bleach kind of resemble them as well. But the night outfits remind me more of the Quincy than the Arrancar. But the Arrancar also have like a Spanish influence. So I have no doubt Kubo is influenced by Berserk. No doubt at all. In some way, shape, or form. Okay, and is that Locust? Is that our boy Locust? What are those lancers? Men fall like trees, like tree leaves before them, and they aren't stopping. What is that? Young master. Check them out. There are several hundred horsemen, no more than one of our divisions. An army so large reacts slowly and yeah, Zodd's like, damn it, I didn't get to fight. Guts, so I'm going to take it out on all of you all. Yeah, but I'm just like, Locust's design is very Quincy from Bleach in its nature. I'm just going to point that out. Of course. And then Zodd's like, there's no finesse to Zodd. Zodd's just rolling in like a big old lion. No finesse whatsoever. Just hacking people apart one by one. Oh my God. Oh, all the demons in like, it's kind of like, what's the phrase? You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. Like they have this fancy armor, but then when they move, you see how bestial they are, and you see like the teeth and everything, the big nasty pointed teeth underneath the armor. Mm-hmm. They're monsters. Yeah. Yeah, bit. And I don't really feel bad for the Kushan. I feel bad for Psylot because Psylot's figured out the truth and he's like, what do I do? I'm just one man with my homies. But I don't feel bad necessarily for the Kushan because they were using monsters like 2 chapters ago. But I do feel bad for Psylot because he's now in this position of what do I do? Oh, and then there's Grunbeld, who Grunbeld looks so small on frame there, but then you figure out he's like 10 feet tall, and you're like, what the heck? Oh my God! Look at the one apostle in the back. You can't really see it in this image, but he's got a shark head. What? Or like a little crustacean head. What? And then that one guy in the back kind of looks like Gambino a little bit, which is interesting. And then, yeah, these demons here. These insert pages where Griffith, like, the sketch pages, I wonder if they were in the actual chapters or not, or if they're just included here. The torn battlefield. Oh my gosh. I like the idea that Locus is a lancer, and then you have Irvine who's an archer, and Zodd's like just this barbarian warrior. Griffith really needed to check off all of his boxes for demographics in terms of this. What is that army? They're cutting right through a Kushan battle line of 200,000. It can't be more than several hundred horsemen. This can't be. I mean, this is basically, it's Band of the Hawk 2.0. I mean, we had, 1,000 men last time, and like 100 of them managed to cut through how many others? Like, Guts could battle 100 men by himself. So this is literally just Band of the Hawk on steroids, like the Windows update. The CrowdStrike update, right? Oh my God. That flag. And now Owen sees that it's the Band of the Hawk. Also, Griffith has the audacity to put a little heart in front of his horse. Like the audacity, this man without a heart to do that. And at least Skull Knight had a bitchin' like front piece on his. There's no mistaking it's him. Oh, young master, Silent, what do you think you're gonna do? What do you think you're gonna do with your eyeliner? Don't go down there. You're gonna get in trouble. Zodd's horse don't need no fancy centerpiece. He's just jacked up on ketamine. Oh. Okay, and it's just a battlefield. Oh. I like Zodd has these axes and this big sword. Like, just raring to go. Oh my God. Oh, your majesty, you have to escape. Oh no. Nope, that's not going to happen. Yeah, the emperor's going to get pissed. Was this part of Griffith's plan to get him pissed and then have him make a mistake? Maybe. Oh! Him! Oh! Or he's right here. Or he's right here. These two demons. Or he's right there in front of him. Well. So we literally have the God hand reincarnated versus the emperor. I'm not rooting for either of them. Yes, the hawk. Is he going to try to kill Ganishka, or is he going to try to get him to submit? The master of we reincarnates, the absolute, the untouchable. Yeah, I like that they call the apostles the reincarnates. That's interesting. I'm trembling. I, the ruler of the greatest empire of this world. Well, you're an apostle, but you're not a god hand, so there is a difference. Oh, that's instinct. The instinct of one whose veins flows in the blood of the demon realm. What a comforting, reassuring voice. Johann be damned. His mere presence here makes everything sufficient, and yet at the same time hunger and thirst. This sensation. Wow, that is a really good way of describing Griffith. He like makes everything seem right, but yet he invokes this sense of hunger and thirst, which very much connects to Griffith from Band of the Hawk days, especially with like Guts and Casca and the band. Oh! Is he going to get killed by Griffith and Psylot's going to discover it through the keyhole? Oh, I love that shot. I love the shot of him looking through the eye hole to see him, and he's going to be dead, isn't he? Like decapitated, possibly. Nope, not yet. Oh, it's maddening. Oh, I love that his like mouth like extends. That's probably one of the best symbolic things that we've seen Miura do. You seem to suffer. If his hand touches me, I'll sacrifice everyone. Oh my God. Psylot's like, what the hell? I'm with Psylot. I'm like, Psylot, my dude. He's like, what is going on? Oh. And Zodd's like, what's going down? I am the Kushan Emperor, supreme ruler and devastator of the world. Oh, Zodd doesn't seem... Oh no, Griffith's right in front of him. Okay. So they're just all hanging around watching this go down. I am he who takes, never he who is taken from. Well, if those are not famous last words, I don't know what is. I am the indestructible Demon King. Even if you be the hawk, to expose yourself unaided before me is the height of folly. Now burn and regret this. I guess my whole thing with Griffith at this point is when Griffith turned into Femto, he had all this malice and evil built up inside of him because of Guts and because of his feeling towards Guts. And it wasn't necessarily Guts' fault. It was just Griffith's own projection of his feelings towards Guts, and which is why he took it out on Casca and Guts and the Band of the Hawk specifically and made the decisions that he made, along with his own agenda. And to see that malice, you could just feel it, and it was visceral. Here, it's just Griffith is very holier than thou, like, oh, this old thing. And you're like, you know that Ganishka is not going to do anything to Griffith at this point. It's just kind of like Griffith has that, like, I'm too cool to look at explosions as I walk away sort of vibe. And I'm just not somebody that finds that engaging or like, oh my God, what a badass. I just don't find it that way. I'm like, I want Griffith to show some kind of, to emote something, and he's just blank slate. Like he's just too good for it and he's above it. And I'm like, is he just this OP? I mean, to me, someone that is OP is not engaging as a antagonist, and I'm like, I just keep wanting more from him. And here, Ganishka is he's just burning himself out, right? Wind coil. I do like that Psylot's watching all this go down, being like, but what is Psylot gonna do with that, right? Okay, maybe we'll get something out of Griffith here. I won't kill you. Well, that was your first mistake. Your first mistake was saying I won't kill you, unless Ganishka knows that he can't kill him and he's just saying it just to blow hot air. But once you're too numb to move, you'll be my captive, and I'll fully sully that beauty of yours. Well, that, again, your first mistake. The air in here seems a bit stagnant for a bird cage. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, what is this business? All of them holding... What? Psylot's like, what is happening? What are you up to? I smell the salt of the sea. Psylot, I'd get out of that. I would get off of that if I were you. Oh, the wind. Is this the whole taking flight thing? Is he going to toss him into the sea? Oh, good, Psylot. Get out of there. At this rate, I'll scatter. Oh, I've got to sustain my form. Oh, no, there he is. Uh-huh. Oh, and of course Griffith can get away with doing this because he's the God Hand, so his powers are a little bit more elevated. Of course, make him kneel before Griffith. And Griffith's going to be like, you either join me or you die. Man, all that floofy hair. His floofy hair almost looks like it's on fire. Yeah. That's preposterous. He saw through my secret and summoned the wind. Or was it coincidence? No, I don't think it was coincidence. Why don't you withdraw, great emperor? Oh, you're just... Is he being serious or is he goading him? Surely our blades will not reach you. But in the midst of the wind, you cannot wield your power. We cannot take you captive when you change your body to mist. But if you vanish from this palace, you will never again gain control of this huge army. It will only invite useless confusion. Of course Griffith's doing this. Griffith knows that he's gonna die. Griffith knows that Ganishka, he's lured him into a corner. It's a checkmate. He can't, if he leaves the army, his pride and ego isn't gonna let him do it. And plus it's gonna be like a strategic, suicide. But if he lets Griffith capture him, well, then that's the same thing. So it's literally a checkmate. And I'm curious if Psylot is watching to see what ends up happening. Uh-huh. I think this is a stalemate for us both. We can't kill you, you can't kill us. So why not make the royal capital our battleground? Ooh. Oh, what? What? So why not make the royal capital your battleground? You're not going to take... What? You're not going to take him captive? You're not going to kill him? I mean, you just said you couldn't kill him, but... Very well. What? Why are we having a showdown? The showdown will be at our demon city. And she will meet the flight of the hawk with the most wicked battle line ever. What? Why did this keep going? What? I want to go back to that for just a hot second. What? Okay, so he's like, why don't you withdraw? Go away. So Psylot's like, what? Our blades will not reach you. You're right in front of him. Kill him right now. But you're not going to kill him because then you don't have an enemy to rally the people against. But in the midst of this wind, you cannot wield your power. If he can't wield his power, then just stick your blade through him right now and kill him. Griffith, what's stopping you? We can't take you captive when you change your body into mist. Okay, well that makes sense. But if you vanish from this palace, you'll never again gain control of this huge army and it will only invite confusion. Well, Griffith is wanting to go and rematch with him. This is all set up. And Psylot knows it now. He's like, you could have killed him and stopped this whole thing. Psylot knows that now. He just watched it go down. And the demons all know they're doing what Griffith wants them to. But it's like Griffith is orchestrating this whole thing to get the people on his side and show like, what? Oh, look at the Kushan. They're coming to fight us. And it's going to be this big drawn out battle. You could have stopped it right now if you killed Ganishka. You could have ended it. You had him on his knees, sword to his throat. You know you can't take him captive. And he's like, if you cause useless confusion over the army, who cares? You can dismantle the army. That way you've won. But inviting him to go battle against you, which they're demons, I shouldn't be surprised. But this retreat. Psylot, what we going to do? And of course, everybody's like, oh, the winged swords armies did it. Yeah, no. It's like a damn wrestling match. It's all staged. Psylot's like, I smell bullshit. Psylot's like, this is bullshit. Uh-huh. Griffith's like, oh, who, you, me? What, pretty boy? Pretty boy? Anyway. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's all cheering around Griffith. I just keep waiting for Griffith to be engaging again as an antagonist, and he's just like, it's like, okay. And that's as far as we're getting, but maybe we'll move on past this. Or not! The Midland regular army. I want to go to the ship! We got to a ship! The Kushan are withdrawing. God be praised! Oh, wow. Several hundred horsemen at the most defeated tens, no hundreds of thousands of enemies. It's a miracle. Of course. Everybody's going to love Griffith. Uh-huh. Oh, the band of the Hawk led by the White Hawk hero. Bleh. I'm just like... I guess another thing, too, is that Guts knows how phony Griffith is in all of this. He doesn't necessarily call him out, but we kind of get the idea. But I guess also another thing that I really was expecting by this point is that there would be somebody, like when we met Shirk, like instantly knew that Griffith, here's one thing, like Miura makes it out that Shirk at the beginning knows how bad Griffith is, but we've not really seen Shirk like acknowledge it since then. It's almost like she forgot, and she's not really acknowledged it, because when she was talking with Sonia, Shirk was like, oh man, Griffith is the ultimate darkness. But then when she was with Sonia, she's like, she's with Griffith. Okay. I'm like, are you not going to call out how bad Griffith is in front of Sonia and let her know if you knew she was with him? But the other thing is too, there's usually, at least with an antagonist that is portrayed as being good, the masses view as good, there's usually a character that's like trying to convince them that he's not and like calling it out. And so far for 10 volumes or more, like at this point, it's been since volume 20, so at least like nearly 12 volumes at this point. Shirk was the one that knew about him, but she's not calling him out. Guts knows about him, but he's not calling him out. He's just like, we're just going to ignore him. And nobody in Midland seems to be calling him out, with the exception of maybe if Foss and Laban are working together, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. So it's kind of like everybody's just like, what a great guy. And we, the audience, know that he's not, but there's like no one calling it out. And maybe Silot's going to be the one. I don't know. Yeah, of course. What a beautiful, picturesque night. It's almost like Mira's mocking us for liking him earlier, right? Maybe it'll be Owen. He definitely was a striking man who at a glance was unforgettable. Yeah, you and Laban saw him in that a moment, right? But now he's like one who is beyond the reach of man. And I guess I like my villains to have a flaw. I like them to have layers to him. And Griffith just, once he became Femto, it's just like he's plateaued and there's no layers to him anymore. It's just, he's a god hand. Also, like, where is Void? Where is Conrad? None of these other, like, entities have shown up for 10 years worth of manga. They just haven't been there at all. I'm like, are they going to show back up? Don't tell me that. I don't want to know answers. But I'm just hypothetically theorizing, like, are they going to be part of this again? Are they going to be a thing? You know? But yeah, he's just like, he's just this untouchable figure. And I'm like, cool. Woo! But I like my villains to be complex, and I like them to be layered and interesting. And Griffith was an interesting antagonist until the eclipse, and then he just kind of like got to this point and he's just kind of plateaued. There's just like nothing else to do with him except he's perfect. And we're supposed to just think that's engaging, I guess. Okay. So here we go. On behalf of every leader of the Holy Seas, my name is Frederico de Vandeminian. What is the name of your army? We are the Band of the Hawk, the Midland Liberation Army, under direct control of the Royal House. And oh man, guess what? A few volumes ago, everybody was in disarray because Princess Charlotte was missing and the Royal House was in disarray. But who's come to bring it back together? Why, Griffith, of course. Liberation Army. Seems Isayama got inspired by that. We declare this. As I am commander of the Liberation Army, all forces who set foot within our kingdom shall obey my orders. Of course. Those who cannot accept this condition are asked not to interfere in any way with our kingdom. And they're like, oh. Well, this is going to cause some strife because Farnese's dad is pretty proud of his power and authority. Ooh, what a ridiculous. I don't know if you're some liberation army or not, but what authority does a commander of a mere band of knights have to talk like that? We are presently the sole regular army of Midland. This is going to be interesting. What say you? Clear the way. Who are they? And they're the ex-noblemen. Well met once again, dignitaries. Thankfully, we're all in good health. Oh, I never thought you still lived. I take issue with your words, Sir Griffith. Ooh, you of common origin lead a mob which the Midland's sole regular army. Who do you say approves such nonsense? By the tradition of our Midland, it is regular armies commanded by we of noble lineage and no other. What a strange thing to say. I ask you, former Midlanders of noble lineage, in the midst of our liberation army's fierce battle with the Kushan, on exactly what battlefields were you knights under your command riding abreast? Well, and I mean, as much as I like their hypocrisy called out, it's just like hypocrisy calling out hypocrisy, and it's like two wrongs don't make a right. This one guy looks like he needs to shave. For a nobleman, he's got a 12 o'clock shadow. The underlying principle of a regular army in our crisis of life or death to the royal house is to defend the last kingdom and its subjects. If it does not fulfill the duty, no matter the mantle of authority it claims to wear, it's no more than a private army. That's a sound argument. Still, you said under direct control of the royal house. In what way? Oh, I thought the whereabouts of our kingdom's sole present member of royalty were unknown. Are you not, in fact, the one wearing a false mantle of authority? I've heard the rumor. One says that you were imprisoned for high treason against the royal house. You're a grave offender, and yet you call upon the name of the royal family. I'd wager you're taking advantage of this conflict to seize a monopoly on our sovereign rights. Well, yeah, you're not wrong, sir. That's a misunderstanding. Oh, well, shit. Oh, but that's exactly what it is. And Griffith's going to use Charlotte. He's going to use her to make them all back down. Ugh. Yep. Of course. He's bewitched her. And, oh, I hate it. Ew. No. Is anyone else disgusted by this one page? Is anyone else disgusted? Please tell me in the comments down below. He is a manipulator. He has manipulated this poor woman to believing that he loves her, and he is using her, and she thinks that he's encouraging her, and it could be far from the truth. That is disgusting. Of course she's betrothed. I, Charlotte Beatrix Marie Rhodey Wyndham, hereby declare this as Princess of Midland. Sir Griffith, my betrothed and leader of the Band of the Hawk, has been designated Supreme Commander of the Midland Regular Army. Ugh. Gross. Disgusting. I hate it. Honestly. I don't root for them as a couple. I root for her to find out the truth and get away from him before it's too late. But he's just using her. He touched her hand and then he withdrew it. If you notice, he's not grasping her hand. He's more interested in his own helmet. And he's just watching her like, are you doing as I'm telling you to? Oh, nope. And the funny thing is, you have Griffith who's using people to get this crown and become supreme leader, and basically using this woman who he does not care for. And then you have Guts, who is, and she's, that's the part that's so frustrating, I think, out of all of it, is you have Griffith, who is using Charlotte to get what he wants. But he does not care. Could not care less for her. And then you have Guts, who is trying to get Casca to be her former self and help her. And she resents him because she doesn't know, she doesn't know any better right now. And it's just so frustrating. I'm like, damn it. So frustrating. Oh, your fiance, Supreme Commander. We earnestly entreat all of you to join us as we devote ourselves to the recapture of our land. Oh, it's, hero. My stomach is like in knots. We had no idea of your safety. And we vassals have no grounds for second-guessing the commands of Her Highness the Princess. I'm afraid Her Highness is fully justified in making this claim. Ugh. Yep, the ones who wielded the sword and rescued her were Sir Griffith and the Band of the Hawk. Moreover, anyone who's a subject of Midland recognizes him as a hero who saved our kingdom in the 100-Year War. Well, you know, with the help of Guts and Casca and everybody else. I believe the young princess and her hero fiancé, the White Hawk, make a more fitting standard to hoist, to collectively rouse the strength of our subjects than those of noble lineage who fled their kingdom. And then that's it. Ugh. What in the blazes? Does he mean he's the next king of Midland? Well, that's what he wants, right? What about our active intervention? We got this large army. Yeah, and Griffith's just going to take that army and go. I address Her Highness Princess Charlotte along with the Supreme Commander of Midland's forces. You are correct in stating the right to command the forces of other nations that set foot in your own kingdom should be yours. However, this war does not solely belong to Midland. It has continued from antiquity, a holy war in the names of the gods of our nations and the Holy See and that of the Kushan, thereby are not the truly greater goods of the transcendence of the national framework and the desire to battle side by side as fellow adherents under His Holiness the Pontiff. Oh, and now, but they've already got the Pontiff on their side, so y'all are screwed. Yep. And here we go. He's going to be a damn apostle, isn't he? Isn't he? Oh, well, maybe not yet, but there's His Holiness with Sonia and Mule. Those big wide eyes, how creepy. Ugh. Well, a blessing upon all of you. Oh, Your Holiness, what brings you to a dangerous battlefield? God's guidance reached me. Well, sure. I like that Sonia and Mule is like, oh my God, I can't believe we're in this position. And Sonia's like reveling in it. And she's like, oh, Lord Griffith. It truly is God's guidance. Oh. And Griffith, all of his years of practicing politics and being, the chivalrous one. Yep. One look and I could tell. And of course, Griffith is just using him. It's just so frustrating to see, like, I'm like, Miura, why are you edging us with this? Like, it's so frustrating. We all know it's all bullshit. But why does it keep going? We've never met, but I know him. A divine revelation has been given. The light of the hawk is our savior. Weigh all your hopes upon him. He's a demon! It appears rending the dark clouds with shining wings. The hawk of light. That dream, that revelation. Oh my God. I'm like, at this point, they have everybody rallying around him. Like, how are they going to convince everybody he's a demon and he's evil now? Like, is Miura even trying to do that? What is the message? Is it just blind faith? I guess that's another thing too, is that we, the audience, want to see the struggle of bringing Griffith to light and having him have his comeuppance, but it just feels like it's getting harder and harder for that to take place, right? Ugh. On board! Oh, thank goodness, we actually get to go. Why is there a little anchor? So random. I mean, it's not random, but it's very on point. Oh, nice! Look at this pretty ship. Roderick, you got yourself a fancy vessel, that's for sure. Huh. Oh, who is this? Tell us who this be. Whirlwind Thrust, who is this? These guys are like, we don't have to do anything. Isidro being like a little pirate. Enough of your dancing, boy. 3-dimensional attack, elf style. What? Who be him? Ultimate kills. That was a close one. Defeat Dignitide, but balls busted. I knew he couldn't do it. He hardly had him cornered this time. He didn't land a hit today either. Oh my gosh, Roderick is a proper seafaring man. Those cannonballs aren't toys. Calm down, navigator. It's good entertainment for a long voyage. Mr. Mustache? What? Mustache. Oh. You want to win so badly? I'm the Black Mustached Knight. And who are you to talk? The Black Mustached Knight. So have we not met him before? Which one of us is heinous and inhuman? This is supposed to be sword practice, but all your scheming tricks are bereft of etiquette. It speaks much of your quality of your master. Oh, whatever. It's my style. Shames me to say that his master to blame for disciples' impropriety am I. I'm seasick, so I'll go sweat it out. What? What? I don't think... I bet you can't see him. I bet you can see him. Oh. What the hell you say? If you're done with your guest, get back to work. Work the day away, stowaway knight. I'm not here because I want to be. Before I knew it, you lot had lugged me into my roost on board. I should be fighting the Kushan on the battlefield right now. Then quit snoozing. I mean, how could anyone sleep through the whole mess? Azon! Yes! It is Azon! Okay! I was like, isn't it? Whatever do you mean? I'm too ashamed to say I was dismissed from the Holy See. And just who do I have to thank for that? Oh! Who would have guessed our paths were crossing in a place like this? God works in mysterious ways. Okay, I was like, is it Azon? I didn't realize Azon was this goofy. That's been the one thing that's kept me from thinking it was Azon. I'm like, Azon seemed kind of stoic back when he was following Farnese and Serpico, but now he seems kind of goofy. So I was like, is it Azon? He seems like he's more of a goofball. Is he an apostle? I guess not. Maybe he is an apostle and we just can't see because he has the helmet on and he doesn't want to talk about it. Maybe. But I like Serpico's like, you're not fooling us. We've been around you this whole time. Either he's an apostle and he doesn't want to show us because that's going to be a plot point later and he's going to talk about Griffith and everything, or he's just been this goofy all along and Serpico and Farnese are like, yeah, y'all just didn't see it. Or it's just he's wanting to be in disguise and Serpico's like, it's like the classic anime where they just put sunglasses on and that's their disguise and you're like, I can still tell it's you. What happened that night is still unbelievable. Vertana suddenly in flames in that silhouette of a giant looming in the fog and booming thunder. At daybreak you came with that odd group, and one was on the verge of death. And then those things. At first the men were quite terrified. Sea dogs are highly superstitious after all. Oh! Though now that they know that they're wind spirits, they seem to be popular as luck bringers. As for me, shady things like witches and elves are... Well, I was there to see it all, and I still barely understand any of it. I like Roderick. But what's certain is that I owe them my life. One of them's incidental, though. We'll do our utmost to treat them courteously as our guests, especially the ladies. Especially that young lady Vandeminian. Eh, sir? My navigator knows his way around all right. Oh my god! Roderick, sweetheart! Uh-huh. Speaking of which, listen, here's where it gets crucial. So you stand watch and don't let anybody in. No peeking from you either. It'll distract her. From what exactly? The time from Farnese journey is finally here. Journey? To the netherworld. Oh. Like I said, no peeking. Okay, I feel a little nervous now. You'll be fine. This realm is one in which you're inexperienced, but you'll be fully prepared. Please be confident. I like that there was no reason for her to be nude, but Mira made her be nude anyway. I'm sorry. It's not a complaint. It's just, it's so obvious at this point when Miura was given the nudity quota and they're like, we haven't seen tits in about a volume, so you need to do something. And granted, I'm glad that we haven't seen it. There's been no nonsense. But it's like, I love that when you see her on the bed, she's clothed, which means there was no reason for her to be nude. She didn't have to be nude to go into the netherworld. So they literally just did it to have some nudity in the volume. That's literally the only reason. There's no other excuse for it. It's just funny to me because it's so on the nose and noticeable that that's what they did. And I'm like, okay. Now close your eyes. All right. Ooh, okay. Oh, I love it. I love that Farnese is... Now, see, here, it's obvious why they show her body because she's in the netherworld. That makes sense. All right. Ooh. I love it. I love the idea of Farnese, like, kind of developing this ethereal body. Oh, wow! She gets this out-of-body experience. Oh, don't panic. That is your body in the astral world, your luminous body. The fruit of your training each and every day. Congratulations. Well, not bad. Good thing you didn't come out looking like this. You can see Mia Valera. Elves are ethereal bodies too, so as long as she can, as long as we're nearby in the stratum. Oh, I love it. Aww. And yeah, it's like a tether. I like it's a little tether from her mind to that. Awesome. Welcome. This is the doorway to the true world of magic. As the foundation of magic is to proceed to the spirits and address them oneself. This is your first real step as a magic user, Farnese. Look what I can do. I feel very moved, teacher. Over here. Oh, yeah. Still a long way to go. To be honest, at first I was unable to believe this single apple you gave me was connected to the miracle-like magic you demonstrated, teacher. When I was alone after returning to my father, I came to feel that even though the whole journey up to then was some dream, no, the truth was I couldn't stand how useless I was, even when I was with all of you. Vexed and miserable, I ran away. Strange, isn't it, when I was supposedly aware of such a thing from the start? But even so, you all came for me. I thought even as I am, I have some significance amongst these people. What are you talking about? If you're gone, who'll take care of... We're not gonna call her the babysitter. I was the opposite, huh? The important things for me, the things of significance for my mistress and the spirit tree forest. Just them and the spirits that surrounded us. To me, people were savage and corrupt. They were inhabitants of an outside world that had nothing to do with us. I like this. I like Shirk being like wanting to be isolated and then Farnese wanting to be a part of a community. I like that kind of opposing, that dichotomy there. But as I journeyed with everyone, this way I sensed warmth and tranquility in those supposedly detestable people. Savage and corrupt, yet warm. Meeting all of you brought about for me a sense of the significance that people possess. Come, let's try outside. Oh, me too, me too. Don't let go until you're accustomed. I'm riding upon the wind. Oh, that's so good. Oh, I love that. I love the two of them together like that. That's so sweet. Oh, Farnese. Oh, I love her character getting to this point. Nice. And Shirk has her apprentice. She has Farnese, her apprentice. Flora would be so proud. That's a beautiful double spread. I love that. That's so pretty. Oh. And Guts, of course. Yep. I'm glad Guts is walking around. He's got a crutch, though. Wow, he's got a crutch just like back in the day. And then Casca looking out at sea. Is that the end of the volume? It is the end of the volume. Oh, man. That's a great shot of Guts and Casca looking out, but they don't necessarily see Farnese. What an interesting volume. I love the journey of Guts and his crew. I love that anytime we're with Guts and the others, I love it because Miura gives us character development with Farnese, character development with Serpico, character development with Shirk and Isidro, and I like Roderick a lot. Magnifico's probably like in the bottom of the ship throwing up somewhere. But I like Roderick enough. He's a good character. I like that we have their journey, and it's just what's interesting is their journey is all just about self-discovery. And I guess that kind of goes back to Complex City and his comment saying that it's all about their journey of self-discovery and acceptance and identity and community and this found family. And it's everything we wanted from the Band of the Hawk we're getting with them and expanding it in different ways. And I love that. I couldn't give two shits about Griffith. I honestly can't. His whole storyline is so frustrating in comparison because it's all about power and glamour and this false idol worship and saviors and heroes. And I know Miura is doing it intentionally. Miura is making this comparison of normally when we watch stories and we read stories, it's about Griffith's story. Normally a lot of stories, I think postmodern times, I think postmodernism kind of is more self-aware and tries to de-establish this convention, and Miura's doing the same thing. It's like the old story used to be, if we go in line with this, the old story used to be, well, here's the story of, it's the hero's journey, right? Griffith is kind of this negaverse of it. And then you have Guts, who's kind of this subversion of the hero's journey. And I'll probably, for volume 33, start out on Whiteboard Coon. I'm going to look up the hero's journey in its entirety. I'm thinking of Brian David Gilbert now taking Kingdom Hearts and breaking it down with the hero's journey and showing how messed up it is. I think for volume 33, I'll probably go through and break down the hero's journey in more detail if you're not familiar with it. But essentially, Miura is taking the concept of the hero's journey, which is one of the tried and true, most used narrative devices, and he's breaking it down in two ways. One way is through Guts and one way is through Griffith. And through Guts, the breakdown is like the hero's journey is all about these certain steps that you go on. And Guts kind of subverts that in a lot of ways by saying, no, I don't want to go that route. I'm focused on these things instead. And these are what's important to me, not this, but this. And that is kind of a subversion of the hero's journey in a sense. But then you have Griffith, who is following through the hero's journey just bit by bit, like got the girl, got the army, got everybody's support, doing all this. But the subversion is he's the devil. And so you're like, he's the Antichrist. He's evil incarnate. And all these people are blindly following him. And so I appreciate what Miura is doing with Guts and Griffith's journeys and making them, like, I thought from the beginning of this story that Guts and Griffith would be getting closer and closer and paralleling their existences. And instead, they're branching out further and further away, which I like. I'm not complaining about that. I like that. What is kind of frustrating to me is that, to me, Griffith is boring. And I say that, and I realize how that sounds, that as soon as I say that, people are going to be like, well, do you want him assaulting people and being... Not necessarily, but like... Griffith is just, he's so OP. He's so high and mighty. He doesn't have personality. I was like, and Guts does. And so does Guts' companions. And Griffith is just like, he is this just white ass cupcake that looks really appealing and you really like it and you'll pay a lot of money for it. But then it's just vanilla. It's just... And that's kind of my only beef with Griffith's storyline is that, you know, Griffith back before he became an apostle, before he became the God Hand, he had all of these flaws and he had all of this like humanity to him. And the point is he lost all of that. In becoming a God Hand, he lost all of his humanity and essentially lost what made him a compelling character. And it's just kind of frustrating that we focus so much. And I get, again, It's that, do we want him to be the side plot, or he was the central antagonist and he still is? It's just, he's charismatic, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's so, I don't know if I can articulate it the way that I want to, but I like my villains in my story to have lots of layers and depth. And like I said, Griffith's just kind of like, he's plateaued and he's not gotten any development. And he has gotten development. He just doesn't have any personality anymore. We haven't touched back on the fact that he's in the vessel of their baby. We haven't touched back on any of that yet. It's just, and it's very frustrating for us, the audience, to watch Griffith get everything he wants. Again, with no comeuppance. He's a savior. He's the fiance of Charlotte. She's on his arm doing whatever he wants. And it's like, girl, you have no clue. Sonia and Mule are blindly following him. They have no idea. The pontiff believes he's a saint and he's a divine revelation. And it's like, he's going to sacrifice you all if he could. And the thing about it is, he can't sacrifice them. He's already sacrificed the Band of the Hawk. So it's just like, he did all of these horrific things, these unspeakable, unforgivable things, and his reward is getting everything that he wants. And it's like, what? And the thing that's so crazy is that, you know, it's in some stories, you have a character like Griffith, but there would be a layer of, well, he's getting everything that he wants, but he's not getting love. He's not getting like the love of his yearned for companion across the sea, you know? And I thought kind of at the beginning of this story that it would be like Griffith and Guts yearning for each other and then them getting separated and them slowly working back towards each other. The Eclipse dashed that to pieces. The Eclipse dashed that to pieces instantly. But it's like, there's a part of Guts that I think deep down inside, the reason why he's so pissed at Griffith is because he feels betrayed by him. And there was a part of him, just like a part of Casca, that cared for Griffith. And they both were so utterly betrayed by him that that's the conflict. They're like, Guts wants revenge for all the bad that he's done, but he also wants to like look Griffith in the eye and be like, why did you do this? And what is a choice by Miura is that once Griffith became a god hand, he just kind of let go his anger at Guts. He was just like, oh, well, I'm above it now. But then he took that all out on Casca, and now he's just kind of above it all. And I'm like, it feels kind of one-sided in a way. And I know we still have 10 volumes to go or 11 volumes to go before we're caught up. But I'm like, Griffith doesn't care about Guts and Casca at all. So it's like, there is nothing standing in Griffith's way. Griffith has no internal conflict. He's just getting whatever he wants. And I'm like, is that it? Is that all we're getting? It's just, and I know some people are going to say, well, it's a message about idol worship, and it's a message about fame, and it's a message about following blindly and being corrupted. I'm like, but we've gotten that same message for 12 volumes now. We get it. Are we going to do anything else with it? And I feel like Psylocke is the way we can do something else with it. And I keep waiting. Again, Miura edges us. He's just edging us in this damn manga. It's like you keep waiting for these characters to make a move and for these characters to react. And I'm like, I'm waiting. I'm being patient. I'm trying to. But I'm like, Psylocke is kind of the one at this point that should defect and go find Guts and be like, what do we do about this? And maybe he'll meet them at Elfhelm. Maybe he'll meet them along the way. I don't know. But Psylocke's the one that kind of knows what's up and now knows, the truth behind all of this about both sides and could be somebody that like is a crack in the armor to like expose all of this. But the odds are so against him. I don't know how that's going to happen or if it's even going to happen. I'm just like, is Miura just going to have Griffith be king of Midland and get everything he wants? And that's the story? And meanwhile, Guts and Casca are going to go be off on their own happily ever after. I'm like, is that what we're doing? I mean, I'm okay if Griffith never sees Guts and Casca again. I'm fine with that. But if the moral of the story is you can do horrendous things, betray your best friends, and end up getting all you want in the end, like, what kind of message is that? Like, I don't know, Mira, what kind of message is that? What? So, I'm kind of like, is that the moral of the story? So, I don't know. I feel like the moral of the story is going to be that you can't do these heinous things and get away with it. But at this point in the story, I have no clue how Griffith is going to be taken down off his high horse. He has everything he ever wanted. He has Charlotte like he wanted in the past. He has an army and everyone supporting him like he wanted in the past. It's a complete reversal from pre-eclipse times. How are we going to take down Griffith? That is the question. And are we even going to take him down? And if not, what was the point? Like, I don't know. So I'm ready to be away from Griffith for a while. We got enough of that. That was fine. I'm ready to go and see if we can get to Elfhelm and what that is like. Maybe we'll get closer next volume with that. That'd be great, but I don't know, y'all. But I'm excited to see it. My one thing is, and I know that people commenting have probably not watched to this point, but I have to say it every volume, so I will say it again. Please understand that these are just my week-to-week thoughts. I'm just expressing how I feel in the moment. As you all have seen with me, things may come out, and probably will come out later, that will change my opinion of what's going down. But it's just where I'm at right now, and it's just like, I almost want to like skip the pages with Griffith in it because I'm like, oh, Griffith's getting what he wants. Neat. Like, there's just not, I'm like waiting for there to be a conflict with Griffith or somebody trying to stand up to Griffith to tell him he's wrong and try to be like the one person with the pitchfork being like, are you all not seeing all this craziness? And nobody's stepping up to do that. So it's just kind of like, it's just like, I feel like I want to skip those pages because they're not important. It's like, nope, Griffith's getting what he wants. What's new? And it's just like, whatever. So Ugh. Anyway, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. Please no spoilers if you can. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, let's hope Charlotte doesn't get impregnated by a demon, and let's hope Griffith gets his comeuppance at some point. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll see you next time with volume 33 of Berserk. Bye.